Hello, everyone. Today is the Under Thursdays Under the Cowl of MS podcast, where I talk about whatever. Who knows? Probably a bunch of nothing today. I don't have any too much stuff left over from the side of from things I was doing in the last week or so. Uh, but I did. Well, I guess I didn't. I tried to get out to my LCS this last week and went up there because I really badly need bags and boards. And apparently, I bought the last of their bags and boards, current size bags and boards. They have gold, but apparently, I bought their last ones like a month and a half ago. So that's a bummer. So I gotta do a search to get those because I got a lot of comics ready to get cataloged, and I don't want to do that until I'm bagging and boarding them. So I'm gonna have to see if I can find a deal on eBay. I know with the whole tariff things and the whole COVID thing that had the problems with the bags and boards, all the other issues that I guess they're still struggling to make them. Which I don't know why. Shouldn't be any shortness of materials or anything. At least not what I've heard of. Um, TV wise, haven't watched much new. We got picked up dropped BritBox and added Acorn, so a couple of our shows have some new seasons coming up. So we're gonna catch those, and I'll probably do Peacock in October. I'll probably pick up Peacock that way I can watch all the Twisted Metal and some other things. The wife's gonna go back to Montana for 3 weeks around then, so I am stuck here alone with the cat. So yeah, we'll be watching all kinds of strange shit and playing a bunch of games and stuff probably. Actually, usually when she disappears for a bit, I usually end up getting a lot of work done around the house because I can move stuff around and just leave it in my way because I don't care if it's in my way. I don't like blocking her from getting around the house comfortably. But when I do a major cleaning or something like that, I like to move everything. It's easier. We can push shit from one room to another, work on a room, let it dry out, and then do the opposite. I'm hoping to get the painting. Ah, damn it. I was supposed to drop my can of paint off at the hardware store today to get the color mixed into it. Oh well, I can do that this weekend because I wasn't planning on doing the paint until next week, anyways. But the weather's dropping down. I'm finally going to be sneaking out of the humidity this weekend, hopefully. So that's a good thing. But other than that, see if I can find anything in the good old Ripley's Believe It or Not thing. See if I find something interesting in here. 1 million in Egyptian hieroglyphs is the figure of a man with his arms spread in an attitude of amazement. Okay. I wouldn't even think that 1 million would have been a number back in Egyptian days. But that's just me. Epitaph of a pottery shop owner. Beneath this stone lies Catherine Gray, changed to a lifeless lump of clay. Who knows, but in the course of years, in some tall pitcher or brown pan, she, in her shop, may be again. Chester, England, I don't know what that's all about. Thought it was going to be a little poem type thing. But The ambitious man, Hugues, the Count of Provence, married first the mother, then the daughter, and finally the widow of King Rodolfo II to become King of Italy. Okay. A cow with the word ice on its side submitted by Arvilla Corning in Portage, Wisconsin. Oh, the cow actually does the white part of the cow in the black. Actually says ice. Miniature statues of the deceased are mounted on each coffin in Halmahera, Indonesia, or Halmahera, to provide a familiar resting place for the soul. I don't think the soul wants to rest in a cemetery on a coffin. I would think the soul would want to go on, do whatever. A highway sign in Shasta County, California says Ego, I-G-O, 12 miles, and Ono is 17 miles. I guess I-G-O would be I go, 12 miles. Oh no, 17 miles. The largest flower in the world, Rafflesia arnoldi of Sumatra, is 3.5 feet in diameter and weighs 15 pounds. 3.5 feet in diameter and weighs 15 pounds. What is the one that my wife wants to go see bloom someday? It's like the coffin plant or the death flower or whatever, but it's a really huge flower that they have a couple up at the domes in Milwaukee, but you never know when they're going to open. Stink really bad when they open, I guess. But my wife's always wanted to go up there and see them. But yeah, we've been. Oh yeah, the wife also found some new invasive plant that she wants to pick up for our yard to replace our grass with. And it's a ground flowering plant that can basically cover the whole yard, which I have no problem with. It means less mowing for me. But I should write it down, look it up, see what it takes to do it. But and then I found out I thought we had I thought it was chestnuts because we had a chestnut tree at one of our other places, and someone would come and take all the chestnuts and that were fallen and take them home and roast them up. But we got the green handball size things falling from all the trees on the side of the house here. And so I was thinking those are chestnuts. Here they're black walnut, which is apparently a really good tasting walnut. It does have some type of, you can smell almost like citronella or lime if you smell the green ball. But we read up on it, it's some type of defense system or something like that that comes out of it and can affect other plants around it. Uh, but yeah, I seen the squirrel hauling them off the other day. Things are as big as his head, and he's just got it in his mouth, and he's hopping across the tree. So yeah, I started grabbing a bunch that were on the ground that weren't attacked by bugs at all. And I was gonna open some up, check them out. But I also need to trim some of them down because I guess they can grow to 100 feet, and these things are already like 40 feet high. So gotta watch that. For all those Taco Bell haters out there, I know this probably still isn't real Mexican food because they all got their opinions. But I just got done doing laundry and running around all over the place. So I haven't had time to grab lunch or anything, but they got these little 2-pack of steak street tacos that they're doing now. 2 of them for like $6. They got like big chunks of green pepper and stuff on them, steak and some type of sauce, double shell type setup. Yeah, took a bite of one of them. Pretty damn good. I was impressed. I like those. Probably the highest quality item that they have on the menu, but they have been bouncing that way with their little Catalina chickens and all this stuff they've been putting out. And then, yeah, I've been vegging on video games. Sadly, late at night, still playing a power washing game where I'm washing houses, and I only play it at the last half hour of my gaming session that night or so. Uh, Calm down, and I'll usually read a comic or two and then go to bed. But a game, if you like having fun, running around with specialty guns and all that stuff, a game you should check out is High on Life. I conquered it yesterday. I had a replay. I was up to the last boss, and for some reason it wiped my whole save and everything disappeared. The whole system froze up where it just came to the screen where you press any button to begin and you do it, and it just loops right back to that screen. Just kept doing that. So I deleted the whole game, re-downloaded it, and then it let me start up a new player. So I just started it from scratch again, which was a good thing because I learned a lot of stuff. Uh, I found a way to get all the coins easier. I found a way to stock up on certain abilities easier, and I realized a bunch of stuff I missed. But stupidly, this time through, I also screwed up and had cages full of people that I could have saved, and I totally screwed that up too. So, but other than that, I downloaded, is it Zombie Army 4, which I liked the other ones. Well, actually, I think I only played the third one. I don't think I ever played 1 and 2. I might have. I play a lot of damn games over the years. But if you ever played Sniper Elite, and then you'd know that it has that thing where when you get a perfect shot in some areas and stuff, you'll get to see the bullet go through the body, exploding the heart, blowing out bones and spleens and whatever the bullet's hitting. And then if it goes through and there's a person behind, you'll see the bullet pass through that person, go into the next person. And it's just awesome seeing those slow mo death shots. That's what Zombie Army 4 does. I don't know if it's the same. I'm guessing it's the same company that made that game as Sniper Elite, but don't take my word for it. I'm just guessing. Uh, but I really enjoy uh, that style of gameplay, just watching the bullets, slow mo destructiveness. It's fun to watch. Uh, I want to start talking about a comic every time I do the Thursday show. But today, today, we're going to talk about Kevin Smith Presents Archie Meets Jay and Silent Bob. I had in my stack of my new comics that came in a couple weeks ago. I didn't even realize that I had this in there uh, because I got a version of it from Anthony that he picked up for me, but I didn't want to read that one. I wanted to keep that one in really good condition, so I was waiting for mine to come in so I could read them, and I was getting bummed because wanted to read it, so I almost opened that one, but thankfully I didn't. But I picked up this kaiju cover, Jay and Silent Bob all kaiju'd out, Archie gang. Snoochie Boochies, Archie fans. The greatest crossover ever is here. This what the heck? Yes, you read that right. Acclaimed writer, director, actor, producer, and podcaster Kevin Smith takes the teens you know and love from Riverdale on the wildest ride of their lives. What's supposed to be a summer job at Quick Stop for Archie Andrews turns into so much more. From a budding friendship with co-worker Randall Graves, crashing a Pussycats concert, potential new love interest, Jay and Silent Bob being, well, Jay and Silent Bob, and a musical number that will be burned into your brain forever. Plus, could Jay and Silent Bob even help Archie to finally choose between Betty and Veronica? Snoogans! Featuring legendary Archie artist Fernando Ruiz and inker Rich Kozlowski. This is a double-sized can't-miss event for mature audiences unlike anything we've ever done before. It starts out with Randall and Elias in the Quick Stop store, and it's basically running them right off of the last Clerks movie. Uh, Elias is still in his what you call it, Satan worshipping cult makeup goofiness. Here's Elias. There's Randall, and there's Randall and Elias, and they have to hire someone because they're making up plans to do other things. So they hire Archie, comes in from Riverdale, and gets a job with them. And of course, Archie has to deal with all their bad behavior. I did not even see that. That is funny. This one panel, if you're a fan of Clerks, egg guy that looks at every egg, pulls all the eggs out. They didn't realize he was the customer walking out of the store there. Uh, the things you find when you pay more attention. But yeah, Archie gets introduced to movies, food, and they do a play with Betty and Veronica uh, that follows up on the Clerks style play where Dante was given the lasagna, and Archie gets a special lasagna brought to him, and then a bunch of stuff happens between our characters. I don't want to ruin all that, but yeah, this was really fun. They go back to some past history, past things from Clerks, and getting a little black white footage from that. Jay and Silent Bob pop in, and of course they got to mess with the new guys, put them through a bunch of stuff, and they got their pot shop next door, so Archie's worried about getting stoned. Then they were Jay wanted to get his daughter tickets for uh, the Pussycat show, and Archie's like, "Well, I can get you tickets," because the ones he could find were in the nosebleed seats for an outrageous price. But he's like, "Yeah, my band's opening up for Josie and the Pussycats," and Archie has some problems and some things happen, and Jay does some stuff in here. Uh, I enjoyed it. It was fun. You have a great write up in the back from Fernando talking about a bunch of history and stuff and dealing with the characters and everything and how easy it was to cross over with Jay and Silent Bob to Archie because they are cartoony themselves and they've been cartooned already in the past. So another cover I picked up was the iconic Archie and the girls. Usually got Archie in the middle, Betty on one side, Veronica on another side, sharing a shake. Here you got Jay and Silent Bob doing it while they stand behind him. But yeah, I had to pick that Dan Parent classic cover up. I was happy to get my hands on that. And then they had two. They had Clerks and Clerks 2, 3 style images, but one's colored, one's black and white. I went with the original Clerk style, even though the Archie is put in color. Everything else is black and white, but I like how they did that. And then the one that Anthony picked up for me at our Friends of All Yeah Comics shop in Skokie, Illinois. He was down there. And this, the Franco cover. And you got the All Yeah Comics shop in the background. I was so happy to see that. To get my hands on that one. And if you haven't seen the cover assortment they came out with, there's quite a few. And there's the colored and black and white versions of the Clerk style imagery. I was happy with the ones I got. Uh, Looking over them, I think I got the best ones. Yeah. And then all the specialty shop ones and stuff, they had quite a few of those too. So presented by different shops and things like that. But that was awesome. So if you haven't read it, check it out. And they say like a song that you can't get out of your mind or whatever. I don't think they did that great with the song. It was fun and everything, but it wasn't no sugar. Uh, but yeah, that is our comic for the week that we're gonna say was our most interesting, enjoyable comic this week. We got some more goodies in the pile that I gotta get to eventually here and check out. And then let's do the next 10 important comics of all time. Actually, they didn't have them in numerical order, I don't think. They just had pages talking about different ones. This, I never seen that one. Oh, it's an old 10 center. A lot of people consider Batman #1 the best Golden Age story, and in many ways, it is still quite modern. It was not the first Batman story, of course. That ran in Detective Comics #27. But it was the first Batman story featuring the Joker, and the whole production represented Bob Kane at his prime. Bill Finger wrote the script, and Bob Kane drew it, with the assistance of George Rosus and Jerry Robinson, and they did a great job. The Joker was a murderer in this story. He killed people. I know, it was shocking to read that as a fan after having been raised on the crazy but harmless Joker stories that ran during the Silver Age. Well, the editorial feeling at the time was that you can't keep bringing back a guy who is a murderer. So after a few more appearances, the Joker became just a criminal. They turned him down, but that first Joker story was impressive. Uh, yeah, they got Plastic Man in there. I wish they had them talking about it while on the page that they have, but I don't see them talking about it at all. All right. Who are the New Men? I never read the New Men story. I have the whole run, I think. Should probably check it out. Yeah, Oddball Comics. Why don't they have? I mean, they tell you. Okay, there's some of them. I guess we're just gonna have to learn stuff from here. Oddball Comics. I got a few of those. They're goofy and interesting. What's up, buddy? Yeah, the fuzzy kitty cat. All right, there are a lot of reasons why people collect comic books, and there are a lot of categories of comics to collect. Some seek out certain old titles in a nostalgic attempt to re experience the four color thrills of their youth. Others collect all the appearances of a particular character or team. There are those who go after all the books from a specific publisher or look for titles belonging every collector or look for titles belonging. And that there's a period, then they go to the next line, and then I guess every the titles that are belonging to certain publishers. I'm guessing. Can't get you on the camera if you hide down there. No, we can't. Look up. Come on, smile. uh, every collector has special agendas, priorities, and criteria to suit their own odd taste in comics. Me, I collect oddball comics. I guess that puts me amongst the oddest of the odd. But exactly what is an oddball comic? Actually, that's not an easy question to answer. So let me throw out a few notable examples. Actual comics with real and real wacky titles like Space Western, The Bouncer, Muggy Doo, Boy Cat, and the indisputably named It's Fun to Stay Alive. Starting to get the picture? Perhaps a bit of background on how I started collecting oddball comics is in order. I grew up in the 1950s when comics were still a dime each, and single comics racks held a wider variety of genres that you could find in a dozen modern comic shops. I loved comics and bought them as voraciously as my allowance would permit. By the early 1960s, I had amassed a sizable collection of funny books and included superheroes, westerns, movie adaptations, war stories, funny animals, and innumerable others. It basically sounds like me. I just had huge variety of whatever, and I love the independent scene. It's kind of like right now with all my YouTube friends and stuff. The majority of them are all stuck on the big two, and they show covers off, and you'll see every person that's into either Marvel or DC has or is trying to get those covers. So you see them over and over and over again, which is fine. But I'd like to get more reviews of those comics than just seeing the covers. It's like, tell us a little bit about them. For the people that haven't read those, might get them into them. But I'm just, I like bringing something different to the table, something odd, like oddball. I had the oddball. I did do. I don't have it sitting up here. I did come across it the other day. I do have the oddball trading card box set that shows a lot of these comics that they produced way back then, which I would have loved to have got my hands on some of those, but I just had a couple ratty ones that I came across over the years. By the early 1960s, I had amassed a sizable collection of funny books that included superheroes, westerns, movies, yeah, all that stuff. In addition to liking certain comics featuring favorite characters or drawn by favorite artists, I found myself inexorably attracted to any issue featuring covers with dinosaurs, gorillas, or monsters, regardless of the type of comic itself. I also went wild for any of the Superman titles featuring the wacky bizarros or the strangely obsessive tales labeled imaginary stories. Yeah, I have my covers that I'm hooked on. Uh, you like my purple glasses? My black one's broken. I don't know where I found these. Found them somewhere, and they worked for my eyes, so I just took them. I think I have two pairs of purple glasses. Uh, yeah, I like my shark covers. I like wintry skiing covers. I like holiday covers. Uh, cat covers. It just, for some reason, I go beyond Howard the Duck. So I've been getting into certain duck covers, but yet the Disney ducks I'm not huge on. But as long as they got a cover that I like, I'll go for it. But see, he doesn't get into talking too much about the different ones, and I don't really need to know Scott Shaw's whole life story. But yeah, I'm just gonna read off some of these covers. You got Teenage Temptations, which yeah, I feel like I seen that not long ago on a claim sale or something. Because I remember the girl down on the bed and him grabbing her by the arm. Abusive cover. Yeah, space western. They like abusing women. I got that there. But he's on a horse and she's falling off the back of the horse. Yeah, Johnny Surge, which is like a cartoony one. You got Picture Parade, where you got a kid and a dog hugging each other while an atomic bomb's going off, nuclear blast. Calling All Boys, more of a sports style cover. The Just Married series, still see those once in a while. Colonel Corn Trains the Champ. Don't know what the champ is. I'm assuming a boxer. But yeah, Pop Teenagers. Punch Comics. Looks kind of like a murder fest, but it's got like little tiny people that are stabbing this guy in the back with knives. Uh, then Oddball Comics, that's the cover of the box of cards that I have. Yeah, Wisconsin's Forest, which is one that I've been trying to find. I really want to get my hands on that. Yeah, it's Slick Chick Comics. That looks fun and interesting. Then the apostrophe comics. Got Atomic War, Zip Jet, the supersonic enemy of evil. Criminals on the run. And a guy threw a fish at the guy and hit him in the face with a fish. Got the All Negro comics. Got My Romantic Adventures, Weird Horrors. Is This Tomorrow? Crimes by Women. That's another female assault cover. Insanity from here, or the Psycho News from here to insanity. 20,000 Louis under the sea. Uh, Forward something Eisenhower and Nixon. There's that Muggy Doo Boy Cat. Another cartoony style. Like to get that one, check it out. Then you got Lucky Comics, where it's like a giant snowman behind him, but I don't think it is. And then there's a guy behind prison bars, and a guy that looks like he's about to rape a woman on the cover. And it's yeah, had some very strange covers back in the day. But we looked at that page, so we'll continue off that next week. As far as the other ones were, I love this Plastic Man cover here. Like to know what's up with that story. They got some spirit covers, fun comics, action comics, Uncle Scrooge, Captain Marvel, Shazam, and action comics again. And then there's the weird, it's like Plastic Man getting pulled into a cactus. That one I would like to get my hands on, but I'm sure it's definitely not available. At least not cheap. Uh, but yeah, that was my week. Nothing exciting. Truck. I don't know if yeah, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, but I was a half hour away going to see mom at the nursing home. And I didn't make it there because I heard something drop and dragging under the car that sounded just like a muffler dragging. And my muffler's been louder, so I'm like, screw it. I'll drive it home, hopefully make it without it falling off. But if it does, I'll just kick it off to the side and pick it up once it cools down. So I drove back 30 miles with it bouncing and dragging every now and then. Well, like an idiot, I didn't look underneath because it sounded like that. Uh, Get in my driveway and I look underneath and I just filled my gas tank. And here, the strap broke and the back side of the gas tank was down. The front was still, strap was still holding. With that heavy ass full gas tank, and then the strap must have been making a noise every time it hit the ground. But thankfully, the tank itself didn't touch the ground, so there was no leakage, no hole in the tank. Thankfully. But yeah, that could have been a mess. A nice little sparking strap bouncing off the road, some gas leaking. Yeah, we would have lost our truck. Uh, but thankfully I made it home, and then I took it over to the mechanic, dropped it off, and just walked home. And they got it fixed for me. And then the car, the passenger side window is off tracks. The electric window doesn't work, so I'm like, when they got the truck done, I dropped the car off, and I'm like, well, fix the window. And when I went to unlock the car, the stupid key thing doesn't work to unlock, but it works to lock it. So the one mechanic there says there's something like a tab in there or a brush in there that he'll take it apart and see if it's moved or damaged or something like that. See if he can get it working for me again. And I'm like, well, since it's in here, the brakes are making a little noise. Why don't we get the brakes taken care of too before winter? And I should put tires on it again. It's been a long time since I put tires on that car. But I got a lot of running to do in September and October. So I need at least one decent vehicle, so I figure get the car with that stuff. And then, yeah, that's been pretty much it. Just working on the yard. Weather's finally nicer, so now I can start trimming stuff and then have some bonfires. Should be a good time, but I'm going to end this here. Thanks for watching if you did this long. Keep falling under the cowl of MS. Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, give us those likes, leave a comment. I'll comment back. Check out our Crimson Cowl Comic Club group podcast we do. And we only do those now twice a month. So you just gotta watch for them to pop up. But yeah, be good to yourself, be good to everybody else. Read your comics and keep coming back. We got lots more fun stuff to come. Thanks. Take care. Bye.